What is up? Aaron Go Read for the mid-month book bash vlog. It is Friday night, 7:30, and I am kind of taking the weekend off, which sounds obvious, but I rarely kind of really get a weekend, so I will definitely be doing some work on Sunday, but today I kicked off work at like 4-ish or so, and tomorrow I'm going to let myself have the day off, and so I would love to do a lot of reading, maybe go for a nice long walk, good workout tomorrow. I've been feeling under the weather. My sinuses get really bad sometimes with the weather change. It's been really cold today. My car was like practically encased in ice this morning. I mean, cold for California. It was like 36 this morning when we got to the car. So like that's legitimately cold. I know it gets way colder other places, but I just took a bit of a nap. My head, it's like my temples are trying to meet each other behind my eyes, or my brain is trying to escape through the front of my face. But actually reading has felt okay. And then it just kind of ebbs and like waxes and wanes, the severity and just how it makes me feel overall. I'm feeling way better than I was earlier in the week. Monday, I tapped out mid-workout. Just my head was feeling so weird, and came home and slept. And then Tuesday, I think I slept like most of the day on Tuesday, from like 1:30 in the afternoon until basically like the next morning with a few interruptions. But anyway, Advil Sinus, which is like Advil or ibuprofen and Sudafed, had a baby, is the most amazing medicine ever. And so that's what's allowed me to survive and be able to work and function for the last few days. So I'll be due to take another dose of that here in a little bit, but I'll tell you what I'm reading. So I had kind of put down Furiously Happy, just because I was reading other things, but I got back into that this afternoon, read a couple chapters in there, and then I'm about 2/3 of the way through Amari and the Night Brothers. This is a library book, and I'm really loving this. Amari is a 12-year-old girl, and her brother Quentin has gone missing, kind of presumed dead. And they think it has something to do with his job, but she really feels that he is alive and that she wants to go save him, basically. And so she goes to this like essentially like magical summer camp kind of thing that he used to go to, and she now has to kind of get like accepted into this magical society and become a junior special agent so she can investigate and find out where he is. It turns out he was actually like a really big deal in the magical world, and she kind of is too. Then I have some more library books. We have When We Were Young by Richard Roeper. Actually, I have no idea what this even is. I just really liked Richard Roeper's last book. It says author of Something to Live For, but that was not the book that I read. The one I'm thinking of is this guy worked for How Not to Die Alone. How Not to Die Alone. That was the book. So Joel and Theo haven't spoken since the summer they turned 16, but that's about to change. From the outside, Joel looks like the picture of success, a TV scriptwriter with a smash hit who's still together and in love with his teenage sweetheart Amber. But the truth is he's falling apart at the seams and finds himself headed home to reconnect with the best friend Theo to get back to the start of it all. Returning home story. Theo has been living in his parents' shed, nursing a broken heart and a wounded ego, convinced life can't get any worse. Then he gets evicted on his 30th birthday. Theo thinks he's done with the real world until it shows up on his doorstep. One of them is keeping a secret and the other is living a lie. But can the promise they once made to walk all 184 miles of the Thames path help them find their way back to truth, to the truth and their friendship? Ooh, that does sound good. So I think right now, though, I'm gonna plug along with Amari and the Night Brothers because it is a middle grade novel and it goes really quickly. And also it's a really great story. The Next book of this, I think, comes out in May. I just saw Jess Owens was talking about anticipated releases, and I want to say it was May 31st for the next book of this. And I'm trying to get my almost 12-year-old niece to read this. She picks books. She finds books that she likes, and she just rereads them. So she's reread Harry Potter, I don't know how many times. Right now, she's doing Ready Player One and Ready Player Two over and over again. So anyway, on with this. Good morning. It's early on a Saturday. It's 5:14. I've been trying to go back to sleep for, I don't know, half an hour. It's not happening, so I guess I'm up for the day. But I only have like 30 pages or so left in Amari and the Night Brothers, so that will be the first order of business of the day. Ugh, my head feels funny. Sinuses are congested, and then you first change positions after a long time. Coffee, water, medicine, reading. Commence. So that was a lot of fun and a twist ending that I did not expect. Outside of the plot, this book tackles issues like bullying, being different, kind of like classism and elitism that kids are going to experience, especially if they're different, if they're poor. Amari comes from basically lives in the projects, and so even when she's at her public school at the very beginning, she's not at a public school, she's a scholarship kid at private school. And so it's known that she's a scholarship kid. And so she's seen as, she's looked down upon for that. And then that kind of carries through as well when she gets to the, whatever it's called, the Bureau of Magical whatevers. Because she is different even in that world, and she is looked down upon and feared and not trusted there. So yeah, a lot of really great themes to explore, especially if you have a young reader who's actually reading this rather than an adult. I had a friend ask me if this would be appropriate for their kids. First of all, it's a middle grade novel, so it's written for a child audience, but I don't see anything coming from a Christian perspective. This was a Christian mom asking me. I don't see anything that would be objectionable at all. I think it'd be a really fun one to read together and to have conversations around, and how it applies to real life outside of this world of fantasy. So yeah, great stuff. Looking forward to the next one. Can definitely see where it's going, so that's cool. So I think I'm gonna pick up Richard Roper's When We Were Young. There's a little bit of it's December, and so there's the idea of themed months, or just any month. There's on BookTube, there's read-alongs, readathons, things like that. Cloak and Dagger Christmas is the Kate Howe mystery thing. Just not feeling anything right now. I was thumbing through the Raymond Chandler book last night, and just nothing was appealing to me at that moment. And I think just the writing style. it was late, and I wasn't down for it quite yet. But When We Were Young is really calling to me, and I have been having this struggle, this internal struggle the last few days of thinking about what do I want to read next, because nothing that I want to read next falls in line with any sort of theme. But that's okay, just read what you want to read. And that's kind of on a day like today, when I am trying not to work. The reason I got up as early as I did is because I couldn't stop thinking about work, actually, and so I couldn't go back to sleep. I I couldn't go back to sleep because I was thinking about, someone responded to an email and like, oh yeah, there's that other thing that I needed to do and all that. And I'm trying to just push it. Don't take it. Don't just let it sit for today. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to be okay if I don't address it today. And so just like actually really giving my brain a full day off, which I very rarely do. And so, yeah, I overthink things, and I can just do what I want to do because that's what I want to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, Stevie? So I'm going to read When We Were Young by Richard Roper right now, because that's what I want to do. Okay, I love this description of the difference between Theo and Joel. So Theo is the one that is being evicted, and Joel is the one that did something bad in the past. So he said, I had settled on the realization that Joel was a man who could pull off any hat you were able to give him, no matter how novel, whereas I was a man who never fully trusted that an automatic door would open as I approached it. So about 25 pages in, and the chapters go back and forth between Theo and Joel, and which one is which? Theo is turning 30 and has had basically like 2 years of just kind of being stagnant and living in a shed on his parents' property, and they've basically given him an eviction notice, kicking him in the pants. You need to get on with your life and figure out what you're going to do with yourself. Joel is looks like a TV show writer, has a long-term girlfriend who he wants to propose to, and for some reason he returns back to their hometown to meet up with Theo to apologize or something. There's something that he did in the past that was very wrong, and to the point that like his entire family hates him, and that's kind of like what's kicking off the story here. One thing, I don't know how to put my finger on it, but when I read How Not to Die Alone, his previous book, Richard Roper's previous book, and now just so far the little bit that I've read of this, there's a real just ease about his writing style, and whimsy is not the word, like a lightness, I think, but it makes me really connect and feel, I think, what the character is feeling, but just in a very simple way. Like, it's not overly written at all. It's not particularly flowery or anything like that. It just makes me feel very much there with the character and feeling and experiencing what they are. Really like it so far. I like Richard Roper's writing style, and I wish I had a better way of like putting it. But there we are. So I think I only got like 6 hours of sleep last night because I stayed up late reading last night. And so I'm feeling quite tired. So I might actually try to take a nap at some point. It's just after 8. And in a while, let's see, I need to work out today, and then my mom and I are going to do the Christmas tree at some point. So I could do the Christmas tree, like the amount of time it would take me to do the Christmas tree versus the amount of time doing the Christmas tree with my mom takes. Very different story. So she gets like so into things, particularly like Christmas projects. Like, she's basically been doing the Christmas lights for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks at this point. I think she's actually done with it. It looks amazing, but she just gets really, really into it, and things like have to be a certain way. And I don't care that much. Not that I want to do like a crappy job or anything like that. I just, like, for me, what's great for me is, only halfway there for her. So yeah, there might be a nap coming soon. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep reading.
So I decided to go out for a walk. It is a beautiful, sunny day, although it is way colder. I just tripped on the edge of that yard. It feels way colder than it seems like it should. But I needed to get out of the house and do something. I'm having a really hard time with balancing finding the balance between allowing myself to rest and feeling like I'm just gonna like slip off into a pit of sloth and depression. It seems like it's a really big slippery slope, but it's like it's one or the other in my head. And not that I'm actually depressed right now, and maybe I am a little bit. I don't know. That's the hard part sometimes, is figuring it out. But it's like I'm afraid that that's not going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So then it's hard to actually relax and just be okay with like lying around and doing nothing. And then like I feel like I should be doing something, and I just like I enjoy being productive. Being productive makes me feel good. But I also know that my body and my mind need rest other than just, getting a good night's sleep. That's definitely a high priority for me. As part of my job, I help make sure my clients are getting good sleep, and that's a big priority. But it's the rest during the week, during the day, that I have a really hard time with. And so I end up like stressing over rest, basically. And then it's like this, like inertia and entropy are real things. And when I'm laying around, like resting, not doing anything, like I've just been, reading here and there, watching BookTube, basically, is what I've been doing today. And I know I need to go to the gym today, and because I haven't been feeling well, I haven't worked out since Monday. I actually tapped out of my workout on Monday because my head felt so, I was feeling lightheaded, and got a barbell on your back. It's not a good idea to feel lightheaded. And then just with my sinuses, I've just been feeling like crap and super tired and everything all week. And so now it's that getting back to it. Like I feel well enough my sinuses feel well enough to go do a workout right now. But it's like that entropy factor has already started. And then the fact that today is like, I'm resting, and the only thing that I like really need to do today is to go to the gym. It makes it feel more like a task rather than the thing that I want to do, which I do. I mean, fitness is a huge part of my life. It's my profession. Anyway, I thought that just getting out and having a walk would help with all that is ailing me, and at least get some like literal momentum and forward progress, even if all I do is go for a walk. So I talked to my mom, and the Christmas tree decoration isn't going to happen until later. She still has more outside stuff that she wants to do, and so she wants the warmth and the daylight for that. So don't have to worry about doing anything with the Christmas tree till later. So maybe what I need to do is just suck it up, and since I'm moving, as soon as I kind of finish up with this walk, is just grab my stuff and go to the gym and get that taken care of, and then I'll feel like I can truly rest after I get my workout in. I just downloaded The Magpie Murders off Libby by Anthony Horowitz, little cloak and dagger Christmas action. I do have the physical copy of the book, so depending on how it goes, I may pick it up physically as well. But I needed an audiobook. I had started last week. I started Matrix by Lauren Groff, and it seems really interesting, but it's one of those books where it's like, it's so good and it's so like literary and beautiful that I want to be reading it physically. I was having a little bit of a hard time just kind of keeping up with it on audio, but it still seems super, super interesting. So I think that's just one that I need to wait to get a physical copy of. Maybe I'll see if I can get it from my library after I turn in these next books. But anyway, so I'm gonna listen to the Magpie Murders for a little bit while I continue to walk, and then hopefully accountability partner. This is really important. The next clip you see should be me at the gym. Call me out if it's not. sometimes all you have to do is show up. And that's usually the hardest part, is once you show up, you're okay. Whether it's like going to the gym or like cleaning the kitchen, like whatever it is, usually once you get started, then you're okay. I'm so glad that I did that. Going for a walk, getting outside, getting some fresh air, some vitamin D, all of that, I think really helped first. And then I just had a killer workout. You know, that entropy factor was definitely there, but it also meant that my body was really well rested. And so I just had like a banging workout. My pull-ups were on point. My bicep curl, I've never curled a 50-pound barbell before. And I did it with a slow descent too, like a slow eccentric. It was a 4-second eccentric, which makes it way, way harder. So yeah, it was a freaking killer workout, and I feel awesome physically, and even better, I feel awesome mentally because I did the thing that I was supposed to do. I showed up for myself, and that in and of itself is the win. Even if it was a crap workout, I showed up and I did it. Just icing on the cake that it was a great workout.
Santa's little helper, hard at work. She made these cane thingies. When I left, she was hot gluing these. We're gonna have to have Christmas through January to make it all worth it, though.
Damn straight you will.
So kind of a weird fact about me is that I love watching barbershop videos. So right now I'm watching The Regal Gentleman. The Regal Gentleman and then Beard Brand, which has a bunch of different barbers, are my favorite. It's really the only ones I watch anymore. I used to cut my late husband's hair for years and years and years, especially after he got hurt. And now I do my dad's hair, and then sometimes I do my nephew's hair. He prefers it when I do his hair. My mom took him to Supercuts, I think, before our family pictures, like last week. And then I ended up having to fix it because he wasn't happy with it, and he wanted me to fix it. And so this is one of the things that I will do to just like relax. It's just so satisfying to me. And then I can apply it too in real life. So probably when I'm done with watching that video, I'll get back to When We Were Young. I'm about 70 pages or so in this, and just really digging it. It's about to get into kind of like the actual, there's some heavier stuff going on that's kind of behind the reunion between Joel and Theo that we've just learned about, and they're kind of like the next morning they're to set off on this trek on the Thames, was it the Thames Trail or whatever it is, the Thames something path. I'm just having a hard time like focusing for long periods of time. So part of my, like, I don't know, growth process or whatever right now is being okay with like not doing anything, just like relaxing and being. And so when I'm not focused on like a work-based task, I find it really hard to do one thing for very long, if that makes sense. So that's where I am basically. But watching BookTube, helped my mom with the lights, did my workout. Thank you for that accountability, by the way. Crushed my workout, actually. Ended up with an amazing workout. So it's really been a really, really good day. We didn't do the Christmas tree. My mom ended up spending so much time outside, she was done. So we'll do the Christmas tree tomorrow. But I'm going to watch this guy get a haircut. And then I'm going to get back to some reading. And I'll probably check in with you tomorrow.